guys, and welcome to day 2 of Drugstore week. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of starting to panic about uploading every single day, but fingers crossed I'm gonna get this done. I'm filming 2 videos today. Today is actually Tuesday, so I'm filming this, editing it and uploading it in one day, and then moving on to film my second one. But today I am talking about drugstore concealers. I think probably the scariest thing to buy in the drugstore is base products, so foundation and concealers, because I guess when you go to like Chanel or MAC or anywhere like that, you have someone there to guide you through the whole process and to help you, but you're also paying loads of money. So if you find a drugstore concealer that you love, it's amazing. And actually some of these concealers are genuinely my favourites, and I have gone through tubes and tubes. Yeah, I think they're tubes. Just loads of them. So the first one I'm going to start with I don't even have, which I know sounds crazy, but the reason I don't have it is because it's an incredible concealer. However, it breaks really easily, and it's probably it is the most expensive one that I'm going to talk about, and I drop it all the time and it breaks, and it's so annoying. And I have kind of kept it broken in the side, but I think it's a particularly good travel concealer. But guys, just don't drop it and break the actual plastic. It's just the plastic that breaks, the actual product doesn't break. It's a Soap & Glory Kick-Ass concealer, the camouflage one. I'm going to insert a picture here. It is £10, so it's fairly expensive. All my prices, by the way, are off Boots, and this is their full price. Although, quick side note, Superdrugs are doing 3 for 2, and Boots have a fair amount of offers as well, but the Superdrugs is probably the best offer in my opinion, because it's across all their lines. Now, the Soap & Glory Kick-Ass concealer has 3 products. It's got a powder on the top, a powder on the top, and then 2 concealers on the bottom. It's really good coverage, and you've got one which is particularly good for your under eyes, and then another concealer which is particularly good for like blemishes and redness, and then you've got a powder to set, which I think is such a good idea. It reminds me a little bit of the Bobbi Brown camouflage kit, I think it's called that, so maybe that's what it was inspired by. That's actually my favourite hands down concealer to travel with. The Soap & Glory offers really good coverage. Sadly there's only 2 shades, which is probably the biggest issue with drugstore in my opinion. Then on to Maybelline Eye Eraser, and this one is £7.99, which is probably like the average price for concealers out of the ones that I have chosen. This one comes in 2 shades, which is awful. This is the darkest shade, and it's probably about my shade right now. It comes with this little sponge on the end, which I know a lot of people hate. I personally don't mind it. A lot of people just pull it off and then twist up the product onto a brush and use it that way. Completely up to you. And I like this one under the eye. I don't think it works as well on redness, and I probably wouldn't use it on blemishes because of the packaging. I feel like you could contaminate the sponge, and then like probably wouldn't recommend that. It's great because although it offers the coverage, I wouldn't say it's too heavy, and it doesn't really crease too much on me. I like the sponge. I kind of draw in a V and then either like pat it out or use a brush to buff it out. Now I actually have no concealer on today because I was thinking of applying a few of these, but I'm only going to apply the one. And the one I'm going to choose to apply is Bourjois Radiance Reveal Concealer, which corrects and illuminates for 24-hour hydration. I hate that voice, it sounds really sarcastic all the time. That wasn't meant to be sarcastic. But packaging wise, it's quite cute, it's quite small. I have 02 Beige, which is one of 3 shades. I think it's the middle one. And on me, it's a slightly lighter concealer. Also guys, no one watched my liner, because it was one of those days, and you know, like Facebook is so right. Have you seen that meme? I don't know what it's called, that says eyeliner can smell fear, and it gets worse and worse the more you try. So as a general rule, I just apply, and if it doesn't go right, I just pretend it has and ignore it. I've actually got fake tan on today, and I do feel like this shade is a tiny bit light for me today. Now this concealer I keep pretty much every single day in my handbag. It's either this or one other one. The reason I like this is because I think it works quite well as a highlighter and adds a lot of radiance to the skin. And halfway through the day, the one thing I don't want is a cakey concealer to apply on potentially already cakey makeup, I want something that will add luminosity to my skin, and I really find that this does do that. It's really creamy and lightweight, and actually when I went to Berlin I lost my foundation and ended up using this all over my skin, and it still worked quite well. I did have to powder a little bit, and if you are particularly oily, I'm dry, but if you are oily then you're going to want to powder this even under your eyes, I would say, just because it might add too much radiance, but I'm all about the glow, so I'm not even 100% sure if it would. Use this largely as a highlighter or an under eye concealer. I wouldn't use it to cover blemishes because I think it would draw too much attention to them and add a glow to them, and that is not what you want. You don't want attention to your blemishes. Another Bourjois concealer is Healthy Mix Concealer. If you've been watching my videos for a little bit, you may know that actually Bourjois foundations break me out like, they broke me out bad, and I've kind of got my head around that. I think they're incredible foundations. I love the coverage, I love the finish, but I don't love the spots, like, at all. But somehow their concealers, although they're very highly fragrant, still don't break me out. Again, the Healthy Mix is £7.99, just like the last two concealers were. This one on me, because my skin and my under eye area is quite dry, can look a little bit cakey, so it's one that I quite like to use on other areas of my face to cover blemishes or to hide redness around my nose or on my cheeks or anything like that. I actually haven't used any concealer because I thought I was going to apply it throughout this video, but then I realised that because I've got fake tan on, some of these concealers don't really suit me, so I decided against that. But it's got a really nice kind of gel-like consistency, which I do really like, but it's quite a good one to apply with your fingers if you decide to apply it on your under eyes, just because you can use the warmth of your finger to really blend it in, and it's probably a little bit better for oilier skins if you want to use under your eyes. If you're dry, again, I wouldn't use this under my eyes. Comes in 3 shades. It's so annoying, literally, like, none of the concealers I have chosen come in more than 3 shades, I don't think. I wrote notes, let's have a look at my notes. Oh no, one of them comes in 4 shades, but that's ridiculous. So basically, if you're darker than me, there's no point even watching this video. Next, and it's up there with the Bourjois Radiance Reveal in being my all-time favourite drugstore concealer, I have gone through endless ones of these. They're £5.49, at least £1.50 cheaper than all the other concealers I have spoken about, and I saw it on ASOS for £3.84, so I will leave a link to that below. This is the one that comes in 4 shades, and this one's particularly good for fair skin. I have Classic Beige, which I think is the third one, so there's one darker than this, I believe, but this is pretty light on me. Again, I use this as a bit of a highlight and concealer. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll use a heavier concealer underneath and then use these highlighty ones on top to add radiance to the under eye area. This one's really good for fair skin, as number 1 is like super pale, which is good. Some of them are a little bit pink. I think this one's one of the more yellow ones. But I love this concealer basically everywhere but blemishes. Again, it's quite a hydrating, reflective, radiance one, so you don't want to add more attention to your blemishes, so this one's not good for that. But other than that, it's like a really light, easy to use, brightening concealer, and I love it. It's just like, I literally just draw on a couple of these down my nose, highlight my chin, around my nose a little tiny bit, and then blend that all in, and I love this concealer. I have gone through so many. And then I almost didn't include this one, but I feel like I actually do really like it, and it's the Flawless Light Reflecting Concealer by Barry M. And the reason I almost didn't include it is because this one is super light in coverage. I read somewhere someone compare it to NARS creamy concealer. It's not the same. This has a far lighter, more watery almost consistency. Again, there's 3 shades of these. This is number 3, and I would say this one is too light for me currently. Can you see it just there? Or maybe just about wearable today on me. But it's really nice on the under eyes if you don't need too much coverage. It's nice to kind of highlight. I think it could almost be used as a liquid highlighter. It's so light in consistency. Can't really see it on the skin. It's beautiful. It doesn't crease. Like it looks nice. It looks really natural. Particularly nice one for summer if you have a tan. If the colour suits you with a tan. And you don't need too much coverage, but just want to add glow to the skin, this one is perfect. And this one is £4.49, not on offer, so this one is actually the cheapest of all of them. But just really nice for drier skins, probably not so great for oily skins or anyone that needs a lot of coverage. But that's the end of my favourite drugstore concealers. Let me know what your favourite drugstore concealer is in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye!